Good morning, my friends. Welcome back to the channel. If you look behind me, you can see we have the truck with the small enclosed trailer, which means we have the paint booth with us today. The goal for the end of today is to hopefully get all of these parts and pieces for the Evo 10 in primer. We do have a ways to go, so hopefully we can get that knocked out. So let's get to work. We do still have quite a bit of work to get done. I had someone here last night blasting on the bumper, and this is pretty much all of the paint that would pressure wash off. So I'm not sure what we're gonna do with the bumper. It is a very, very rare FQ400 bumper, but I'm tempted just to toss it and get a different bumper, because at this point, there's probably a combined 10 hours into this stupid bumper, and it's not even close to being done. Each of the parts need just a touch of love before we move on to primer. So let's just go through one by one and get the final scuff done, the final sand done. And in the instance of the front bumper, we still do have to finish off that corner that was broken. So we need to get that on the car and get that all sorted. Let's go ahead and make some progress with the easy stuff first. The trunk lid is 100% ready for a touch of primer. Now let's go ahead and get this fender sorted out. This is the one that was broken. We epoxied this front piece back on. We still have that little crack right there. So we need to go ahead and get that flat sanded and get that filled in flat sanded, and filled and flat sanded. So as that dries, I'm gonna wet sand the rest of the fender with 600 and get that ready for primer as well. Next up, let's finish the hood. So we already got it all sanded down in there. I'm not sure exactly how I'm gonna apply body filler in those areas. probably just with my finger. And then we need a little body filler right there. And that's about it. All right, the hood is finally done. It took forever, of course, working up in these areas right here. It's very difficult. I'm excited to see how that looks under primer. If it needs more work, we can take care of it then. It's hard to tell how it's gonna look when it's 4,000 different colors. Now, I want to try something on this bumper. This thing, technically speaking, should not need any sort of primer, but this paint is really bugging me and I'm over it. So, let's see what happens. This is a new kind of, or not new, but I know the old paint stripper had the methylene chloride in it, which was very, very strong. I think that's the main ingredient in the powder coat strip tank, and this new paint remover does not have it. So I'm curious to see if this is even gonna work on a bumper. And if it does, let's hope it doesn't burn and melt the plastic, because then we'd throw it in the garbage. Now, I'm not saying this is gonna not work, but I did get a little bit on my skin, and it did not do anything to my skin. So if it does nothing to my skin, I can't imagine it's gonna do anything to paint, but I guess we'll see. I'm gonna let that sit. Let's go ahead, get the front bumper on the car and get this corner shaped up how it needs to sit. Applied a bit more fiberglass to the front bumper, so we're letting that dry. Quick update on the rear bumper. The paint stripper does appear like it's working. It's been sitting on here for probably a good solid hour. There's some areas that are lifting, so let's go ahead and pull this thing outside and pressure wash it and see if it comes off easier. This thing is a mess. We are at the point now where if I destroy this bumper, I do not care. So this is where we're currently at. Don't judge me. This is my powder coat strip tank, and it strips powder coat off of metal. This is my bumper sitting in the strip tank, stripping the paint off the plastic. There's a probability that's pretty high that it's gonna melt the plastic, but I don't really care at this point. I've spent way too much time on this thing to not care at all. I finally found the best way to strip the paint off this bumper. What do you think, Jared?
Very effective.
I tried everything, and then it got dissolved in the powder coat strip tank, so I ended up just setting it on fire because I'm really sick of this bumper. Ah, that makes me feel good. I think I'm gonna burn it all the way up. There we go. Very nice. Fuck this bumper.
It's very durable.
We're gonna have a nice black patch on our concrete now. Should we try to put it on the car now?
Yeah, you can fix it.
Alright, Jared, run.
Pours gas on me.
Alright, we're just gonna let it burn. Cool. Well, there goes that bumper. Good thing I got another one, huh?
Back to the stock bumper life.
Yeah. All right, the front bumper is all finished up. This should look very, very nice. It's very thick and sturdy and should never crack out again. We have a little bit of scuffing to do on the rest of the bumper, so let's go ahead and tackle that, and then we can move on to our OEM bumper. We need to completely rescuff this, and there's a little damaged area right there that someone tried to patch up and it looks like complete trash. So this whole bumper is getting sprayed as well because it's not perfect. All right, so we got the giant inflatable booth all set up in the shop, nice and warm, heated up. Here is everything that we are painting today. So rear bumper, primering today. Primer there, a little bit there, pretty much the whole entire front bumper is getting primed. The whole entire fenders are getting primed. Little primer here and up front. Whole entire hood is getting primed, and then the front of that side skirt as well is getting primed, and we should be good to go. So let's get everything in the booth and get to spraying. All right, all the parts are in primer. Here's the bumper, and I always like to just mask off the little valleys right here, just so we don't have to spend 40 years trying to sand that out. Much easier. Of course, you have a hard line right there, but I would rather deal with that than primer in there. The fenders had quite a few pinholes, so I tried to fill the pinholes as best as I could with some primer. There is going to be a little bit of glaze work we're going to have to do. I know there's a pinhole in the bumper, if it'll focus. Primered that little area on the trunk, that should be good to go. Side skirts had a lot of pinholes, and the hood was actually really nice, didn't have much pinhole stuff going on there. So yeah, that is pretty exciting. We're gonna have to let these sit for a few days. I'm gonna turn up the heat in the shop to 80 degrees, kind of try to bake this primer and let it shrink up as much as possible. Of course, I don't want to wait around for weeks and weeks and weeks. A couple days we should be good. One last thing I do want to do tonight is go ahead and knock out a spray out card or a few spray out cards, just because we are not blending anything. This is a straight up butt match, meaning we're not blending onto the doors, we're not blending onto the quarter panels, we're not doing any sort of blending on the car. The body of the car is perfect, and I do not want to alter the factory paint on that car whatsoever. So I did already get our color, and we're gonna go ahead, like I said, and knock out a spray out card. This is the brand I've been rocking with these days. The color it shows is Frost White. Very interesting. If you're an Evo boy, you know it is called Wicked White. Before I do a spray out card, I'm just gonna grab a little dab of it and set it on the gas lid. And if it's way off, which I don't think it's gonna be because I brought the gas lid in with me, then it's not even worth doing a spray out card. All right, we got 3 coats on the spray out card. You can see it didn't cover the lettering much, but where the spray out card was white, we should be good there. So throw a little wax and grease on it. I do not like this color, if I'm being completely honest. It's a little too white. It needs to be a little bit more yellow based off of what I see. And unfortunately it is Friday, tomorrow's Saturday, and I highly doubt they're open. Let's go ahead and take a look. Yep, they are closed until Monday. I was planning on shooting this car out Sunday, but we cannot do that unless we want to redo the job. So I'm gonna let this primer really shrink up over the weekend, and then I guess Monday we can go get this thing painted. This is the beauty of spray out cards though. I'm glad I did a spray out card. Even without the spray out card, when I put just a little bit of white paint on this gas lid here, I could kind of tell it was a little bit too white, but I decided to do a card anyway, and I'm glad I did. That's gonna be a wrap for today, my friends. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Here's all the parts and pieces once again, and primer, a nice little wet sand, and they're ready for some paint. Hope you enjoyed. Peace out. I'll see you guys in the next video, which I'll give you a little sneak peek. This thing's gonna be fast.